Hello, today I'm going to be talking about how my Copyright 101 lesson follows the Assure model. So the A is for analyze learners, and the teacher should analyze the learner's general characteristics, their learning differences and needs, and their entry competencies. So this lesson is geared for students 3rd through 5th grade, which is 9 to 12-year-olds. The students have done some basic research, but have not been explicitly taught about copyright laws or how to cite sources. The class is a general education class, but may have students with learning disabilities such as dyslexia. The S in Assure, the first S, stands for state the standards and objectives. So the teacher should say the standards and objectives specifically, and they should name the learner and action to be demonstrated, the condition to be observed, and to what degree it should be mastered. So the objectives in my lesson are that students will understand copyright and what that might include. Students will understand who must follow copyrights and why. And students will show how to select sources and correctly cite those sources. The second S in Assure stands for select strategies and resources. This means to, quote, build a bridge between the analyze learners, the A in Assure, and the first S for standards and objectives by choosing appropriate instructional strategies to make that happen. So I will use my Copyright 101 presentation and student devices, and I'll be using websites such as PebbleGo, Poetry for Kids, nationalgeographic.com, and Pixabay. And I will present my presentation. We will do some practice together, a we do, and then students will, a you do. And then students will also show how to apply the information they've learned in the research project that they're doing with their classroom teacher. The U in Assure stands for utilize resources. So what technology, media, or resources will you use? And teachers should follow the 5 Ps, which are preview, prepare resources, prepare the environment, prepare learners, provide the learning experience. So when I utilize resources, I will have previewed all the sites I plan to use to make sure they're appropriate and useful for the lesson. I have already prepared my Copyright 101 presentation and included links for the sites that we plan to use. My physical space will include a large screen for the presentation and tables for students to collaborate while they work and look at sites together. I will share the learning objectives to prepare the learners, and I will teach my lesson. The R in Assure stands for require learner participation, which means that you provide activities that allow students to practice and have active mental engagement. So I will require learner participation throughout my whole lesson. First, students will actively listen to the presentation. Then students will visit the sites, PebbleGo, Poetry for Kids, and National Geographic Kids to look for clues of copyright and look for information to help cite. And finally, students will visit Pixabay to browse resources they might use for future research and assignments. Also, later, students will apply their learning from this lesson in their research project with their classroom teacher. And finally, the E in Assure stands for evaluate and revise. Teachers should evaluate the impact on learning and look for discrepancies between the learner objective and the learner outcomes. So my evaluate and revise will be 2 parts to the student learning evaluation rubric. The first part is looking to see, can students use the information from the presentation to locate copyright information and information to help them cite sources? And the second part will be, can students apply what they have learned and practiced when completing the research assignment with their teacher? So the rubric will actually be looking for, did they pay attention to copyright? Are they trying to use royalty-free images instead of copying and pasting from Google? And then I got all of my information about the Assure model from the textbook Instructional Technology and Media for Learning. Thank you.